How's it going, everyone? Matt's Barney here, and today I'm bringing you another Contest of Champions War video. We are up against Jedi Knights, which, for the first time ever, I actually know who these alliance is, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the other interesting thing about this war is that every single battle group had a Maestro boss, which isn't the end of the world. It did, our whole alliance ended up, like, trying to figure out ways to beat them. When the war first opened up, I came up with a few ways that could work, and we ended up going with Kindred, which was good. It just, he wasn't strong enough to kill the boss in one try, but, you know, if he was rank 5, it'd be easier, but we already started using other champs for it, but overall, it wasn't a bad attempt. It did involve me bringing a white mag for the boss and also the Conflictor mini, so I actually still have a lot to take on this. I know for sure I take the Rooted mini and also a Chavez on Hazard Shift mini, which wasn't bad. I realized when I went into this fight that I don't have a relic on Quicksilver, and I was like, I cannot believe I am not running a relic, even just for the extra stun. Like, I just wasn't running it, so it was definitely upsetting. Now, the main thing with this fight is I did also pop a regen boost just in case I had to take some block damage, because unfortunately with Quicksilver, he is immune to the dexterity buff and also placebo, so there is no way to make it so that I don't reduce the stun. So it's just kind of have to deal with it and pick and choose my stuns very carefully. This fight is very long because I do spend a lot of it trying to bait his SP1. Like I said in the last video, ever since like I fought that Toad, computers are just not cooperating with me at all in specials. They are being very stingy, so I think inevitably I'm gonna die to some all or nothing node. But as of right now, you know, it's not too bad. We do end up losing to these guys, but it was a pretty close war. You know, it had a lot to do with us trying, you know, the Maestro boss. I felt as though if there was no Maestro boss for the other guys, we probably would have beat them, because I think a lot of our deaths came from the boss. So, you know, if they didn't have that boss, we probably would have won. But either way, you know, now we have one of our own, so at least we could say that. But overall, you know, it was our Master War after we won, so we got back into Masters, got these guys, and we do end up losing. So now, by the time I'm voiceovering this, I am in the middle of the other war, and same thing. We're just trying to get back into Masters. Now, as you can see, I was trying to bait the SP1. Ended up missing. I don't like to throw the SP3 with Quicksilver, so I did unfortunately have to throw the SP2 into his block. But the good thing is, with how Quicksilver recovers after his SP2, he pretty much can never be punished by it unless the computer's like really ready, and I think that even triggers an evade when you do it. So overall, you know, it's looking good. I am trying to get this slow back on him because I don't want to deal with the aura. But I'm not able to parry. I don't want to waste any of my parries. I only want to waste them till like when my back's against the wall. He is a Mystic, so this 41 burst probably is enough. And as you can see here, I do manually detonate it because I just wanted the fight to end. I know that they're doubled against Mystics, so I just felt like maybe that was a comfortable amount of time. Now, next up, we do have a Spot, which there's nothing wrong with this. You know, there's not really, they just kind of threw him here. He is only rank 4, so pretty much anyone can take him. I do run an Indestructible here, though, because I was nervous of him inevitably going untouchable with bad RNG, and I would hit him, and then I would go miss, and he would just end up slapping me with like a 5-hit combo. I know that with that, the burst is really what kills you, which Indestructible doesn't get rid of, but I was just trying to negate as much damage as possible. So as you can see here, I do dash back the last hit and immediately dash in to pause his portals. And trying so hard to bait the SP1. We did unfortunately have to throw the SP1, which gives him like, it ended up by RNG giving him like 4 dots. So we do get, we're actually able to dexterity that, which is pretty big. A lot of times I get slapped right in the face, and we still took like almost a 10k burst. So unfortunately, we did get bad RNG with the SP1. God, I can't talk today. We did get bad RNG with the SP1, but it's not a big deal. As long as we keep him paused, you know, try to get him to an SP1 before it unpauses. As you can see here, I do throw the relic in hopes to get him to another SP1, and just like that, we did stun him, and it was just enough to get him to an SP1, so we can pause it again, throw the SP2, and just like that, he is done. It was a perfect rotation, and it ended up working out pretty well. My path only really needed to be done with 2 people. Quicksilver and Guardian. You really only used Guardian for the Domino EMP, but I realized I can't really use Quicksilver on Spot because of how many hits his combo meter is. You know, even if like 2 of the 3 hit light gives him the spots, he's gonna end up getting untouchable like super fast. I mean, he can't miss when he gets the slow, which I guess you could fight him with Quicksilver, but I felt more comfortable using him with Guardian. So as you can see here, I am going to start the game off with a parry heavy to not only gain extra charges of momentum, but also to stop her from going miss, just until I gain my slow. As you can see here, I am trying to build it up after the SP1, get to a nice 200, pretty good. We're going to renew it because the miss did come back, and we don't have the slow on him yet, so we have to focus on that. I'm not sure if the slow from the global counts as a slow for him, so I didn't want to chance that. You know, just dash back, get my own slow, which I know works. You know, it works the correct way. So now we're going to be baiting SP2s here. And I'm thinking any second now, because that same situation happens like 4 times. Any second now, she's going to throw. She's not going to throw the SP2. I'm going to get hit with the heavy. And I'm building up all my momentum, and I don't even realize that I've lost all of my whiplashes. So now I have to, unfortunately, throw this SP2 with borderline no whiplashes. I literally have 6 right now. So now I'm baiting SP2. Not really much going on in the fight. At this point now, I am really close to 999. So I'm going to be trying to get to... trying to keep it paused. I just have to bait this SP1 for the life of me. And she just isn't. So we're going to be pushing her back a little bit to gain some distance. Hopefully the computer throws that SP2, which it does. But we do have to end up hitting her. She does go miss, but we do have terminal velocity, which allows us to bypass it. But I do make the mistake of realizing that my terminal velocity will inevitably go away, and I have to build back up to 300. But once again, just baiting this SP2. There is like the entire fight is just me baiting SP2s. And as you can see, I had like a sliver of terminal velocity left, which I used to be able to cash that in to be able to hit her while she was missing. So we're going to be throwing the SP1 here to try to gain something. I will have to do a parry heavy here to gain more, but I'm hoping with the SP2 animation alone, I'm able to get to the 300 mark. We do have our own slow, so it's not that big of a deal. Also, the 10% fury that the node gives us when we knock them down is pretty good. It's nothing to write home about, but think of it as you don't have to run a 10% boost. I mean, obviously I do that anyway, but think of it as like a 10% attack boost. You know, it does help a lot. And this fight, which I swear every time I do it, is going to inevitably screw me. I do end up using my only white mag on it, because I do have to save the other 2 for fights. I unfortunately have to back out because I don't want any chance of me not getting the pre-fight. Only took me like 2 seconds to make sure I get it. Now with this fight, she is an ascended rank 5 Sig 200. Not a big deal, but there's always that chance that she's going to be stingy. We do end up using our last invulnerability boost, and I pretty much have nothing. And I was starting this runoff with like light boost because I wasn't going to do it all in one shot. But as soon as I took like the guillotine out, I was just like, you know what? We're going to keep going. I'm not going to stop in front of this domino and then think about it all night and then dream about me dying to it. It's not worth it to me. So we end up, you know, wasting the 60 units and we bypass it. So it's not a big deal. I am going to be trying to bait SP1s a lot more now. One thing that, like, after I watch the footage, I kind of have to realize is I rarely ever bait her SP1. You know, I mean, like, if she has, like, a bar and a half, like, I'll try to bait it. But I don't really prioritize baiting her SP1. I mostly push her to SP2 because I'm just comfortable with it. But I realize, like, if I bait the SP1, I get a little more time to be a little bit more comfortable. We do throw that SP1 right before she gets lucky. And it does have a taunt on it, which, to be honest, you know, doesn't even affect Domino half the time. You could have 100% taunt and she's still just going to look right at you. So taunt means nothing to me against Domino. But we did, in my head, like, the game's almost over. We did land the SP1, which is big. So right now I just need her to cooperate like a little bit longer. I do like to get the Hulkbuster relic off to gain a little bit more shock damage, but it's by no means a priority. You know, at this point, like, now I realize it's kind of coming back to bite me. She does throw the SP2 though, which is good. So I'm going to be trying to hit her, you know, gain the relic. She didn't get lucky from it, so we did get lucky with that. Literally, we got lucky from her not getting lucky. And just like that, we blew her away. And now, this fight, which wasn't a problem, it was just more of the fact I was so disappointed in myself for not equipping a relic to Quicksilver, which, by the way, I fixed. I gave him like a nothing relic, but I needed him to have a relic. And also, my girlfriend was sending me TikToks because I put the wrong type of do not disturb while watching this, while playing it. So now you guys are going to see what I call my girlfriend. Not a big deal. I want to be transparent, you know, no secrets. But it was a little frustrating seeing those messages while I'm trying to fight for my life with no relic. The key is to not get rooted, but we unfortunately do have to get rooted this time, but it's pretty easy, just kind of dashing back. The good thing is, if we can get Wong to throw his heavy a little bit more often, with the amount of withers that you have, not only from the global, but from Quicksilver himself, you actually reverse the power gain. Like, there's a little segment here where he throws it more than once, and he actually gets rid of his power entirely, like when I'm rooted. So we do get rooted there, so I do have to throw the SP1, which I guess I could have tanked it, but I didn't really worry about that too much. I'd rather just save myself. I do have Bubble Shield at 9, so I do have to kind of stay focused with that. We do get rooted again, but I am going to be kind of just dexing this one out. You know, we blocked the first hit on purpose, and then we dex the next hit because we know that's going to be unblockable. Trying to bait this SP1. He is not giving us any time of day, so with 2 heavies, he got rid of a little bit more than a bar of power. So those withers are pretty powerful. You know, we have 11 of them on him. So overall, it's a good thing. We're not in terminal velocity. And as you saw right there, I did throw the lights like literally the split second before I was about to get rooted. And the big burst happened. I was kind of hoping that was the end of the game. I knew it wasn't, but I was just hoping for a miracle at that point. We did get rid of a big chunk, though. It was like 116,000 bursts. So we are going to get rooted again. So I was a little annoyed about this, but as long as you keep calm, guys, there's nothing wrong with being rooted. We're going to be building up our whiplashes slowly, you know, trying not to get rooted. We are going to be trying to hold a bar of power. I unfortunately did not have a slow on him because my terminal velocity went away. So thank God for Quicksilver's failsafe. So I do throw the SP1 to make sure I do have a slow, and just like that, he is done. That fight was stressful, and in my head, I'm like, God, I would just wish my war was over. But it was not over. We have a hazard shift Chavez to do, which isn't a problem. It is not. But when you suck, every fight is an issue. So I was having a little lapse. I don't know what was going on. My girlfriend sent me another message. Not saying it's her fault, but it was tough. I'm just saying. So I do start with a regen boost, which, by the way, you can decide if it saves me or not. It pretty much does, because I do get hit a lot. Hazard shift doesn't matter when you use a global because there is damage resistance for every debuff that you do. She is a global defender, so on top of everything else I'm doing with Quicksilver, I am also putting the withers, which means there's no damage from anything. And the good thing is, I don't believe it's a poison hazard shift, so I am going to be healing the full amount. And I do miss the dex because of how fast. And once again, I was like, all right, it's fine. Not a big deal. But I did miss the dex on the SP1 because of how fast his dashback is. So I do end up getting slammed with like a 20k SP1 with like nothing. There was no damage boost on that. And somehow I still took 20k damage. So now we're trying to just get the incinerates. So we're able to willpower regen from it. So as you can see, I am slowing my dex down, which ends up having me get clipped with a like a 4-hit combo, which now I'm on 25% health. Not a big deal. We're just trying to bait SP1s here. Now, I'm being super careful with the dexes. You can't dex too early. You can't dex too late. You know, I'm not trying to get hit again because I'm dead if I get hit. So I'm just trying to willpower regen specifically just from the incinerates, because the poisons are going to reduce your regen ability. I don't want her to get an SP2, so she's got to cooperate with me just like a tad. Unfortunately, we do have to get to an SP3. I'm going to detonate this burst here just to gain some type of damage to push the fight a little bit in my favor. As you can see, we do have a bunch of those incinerates, 154 damage. We lose all of the damage that we healed in block. So I'm like, it's okay. Not a big deal. This is why we're in Masters. unfortunately, we're not in Masters anymore, but we are in Masters right now. So you got to have a Masters mentality. Now I have the poisons, which is reducing my healing, but 132 a second is still good. It's enough to tank a few blocked hits from this jacked up Chavez. And in my head, I'm just wishing to myself that I had a fucking relic, but I don't have a relic. Not a big deal. You know, now we have 18 whiplashes. I don't have the SP2 to double them, so I'm probably just going to burst them manually. I do end up throwing the SP3 much later because I don't have any need for it. And now in my head, I'm getting worried because now I'm getting too comfortable with the dexing of the SP1. So I'm like, I'm bound to get clipped. So let me slow it down now. She has 9% health. This last dex is going to solidify it. Boom! We do the 5-hit combo. I am going to be throwing the SP3 a little bit later because for some reason in my head, I was afraid that, one, the SP3 wasn't going to kill, and it was going to push her to 2 bars, and then I was going to die anyway. So I do play it safe here. 5-hit combo, which really isn't 5. It's like 15. So, hoping that this SP3 kills. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys because, you know. And just like that, he's dead. That was stressful as hell. Got hit so many times by, like, the hardest hitting Mystic in the game. It was weird. But we do end up losing. But as a battle group, we did pretty good. I think as an alliance, we did really well. Most of our deaths came from the Maestro boss. So like I said, if there was no Maestro boss, I felt like we destroyed these guys. But unfortunately, they had one. We didn't. And now that we have practice on it, hopefully we won't give him as many deaths as we did this war. But yeah, we're overall doing good. Like I said, that I'm voiceovering this. We are in the next war. Doing great so far. Don't want to jinx us, but we're doing good. And overall, I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Not getting as many viewers as I had originally. I know you guys watch me for Sandman, but unfortunately Sandman wasn't in this video, but I promise he's in the next video because I just used them, and he's doing amazing. You know, I paid the deal, and I got the Chilith girl, which is a very interesting character. I do enjoy her a lot. You know, I was thinking about making a guide on how to use her, you know, if any of you are curious how to, because no one really has a guide out for her yet, so I could take advantage of that. But that's besides the point. Overall, I hope you guys are enjoying the videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.